If you are happy working with angles on a straight line, then head back to M130. If you are not, then please continue and see what happens when you work with angles around a point. Angles, angles, angles around a point. Here is a point. You know that if we were working with this point on a straight line, the angles would add to 180 degrees. To go all the way around the point then would be twice 180. That's 360 degrees. If you only have one angle missing around a point, then finding it is as easy as pie.
I'm really easy!
You can just figure out what's left if it all needs to add to 360 degrees. An example. The numbered angles add to make 300 degrees here. We need to make 360, so obviously that last angle must be 60 degrees. There is another helpful pattern though that you might want to consider. Imagine two straight lines cross at a point, making 4 angles. One of these angles is labelled 100 degrees. And would you believe me if I told you we could figure out all the angles around this point from just that piece of information?
Well, obviously, sir, otherwise we wouldn't be doing the video, would we?
Fair point. Consider the fact you have 2 straight lines. You know angles on a straight line add to make 180 degrees. So, to find this angle, all you need to do is work out what partners this one to make that 80 degrees. Now let's look at this straight line. We have the 80 degrees, so this angle must be 100 degrees. And finally, we have the 100 degrees, so this must be 80 degrees. Well, look at that. Your straight line knowledge is coming in handy already. You could fill all of that in and you didn't need to know anything else. There is a fancy term for this pattern of angles though. You may have noticed that the opposite angles are equal. This is always the case when 2 straight lines cross. The technical term is vertically opposite angles, which is definitely daft and confusing in my opinion, because these angles are certainly horizontally opposite and not vertically opposite, but there you go. And when 2 straight lines cross, they are always equal. Vertically opposite angles, always equal. See if you can take the information from this video and turn it into some solid answers for the following questions. Pause, then have a listen to the answers. Question A then, we are finding what's left to make 360 degrees, and that is 150 degrees. For B, we're looking at vertically opposite angles. Opposite 80 degrees then is going to be exactly the same, 80 degrees again. For C, we have to recognise a right angle sign when we see it. That's 180 degrees on the top then. Underneath, we've got 110 degrees. That leaves 70 degrees to go around that point. So that's our missing angle. And finally, for D, we have some vertically opposite angles. So 60 degrees is going to mirror the 60 already there. And then we have to add what's left to make 180 degrees on one of those straight lines. That's 120 degrees. Assuming you could answer all of those questions, we're going to take a bit of a leap now and look at several points on parallel lines. Now that might sound daunting, but I promise once we look at it, it'll be absolutely fine. Of course, if you want more practice at this, you can go back and go through the video again. You can complete the accompanying worksheet and go and find yourself a teacher. They'll be only too happy to give you more work to do.